Hey everyone! Today we're diving into the movie Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the lightning thief. Deep beneath the ocean waves, the powerful god Poseidon emerges from the sea, heading for the shore after an unusual disturbance draws him to the world of men. Transforming into human form, he makes his way into New York City for a secret meeting atop the Empire State Building. There, he finds his brother Zeus waiting for him with a massive accusation. Zeus reveals that his master bolt, the most powerful weapon in existence, has been stolen. He blames Poseidon's demigod son for the theft. Poseidon is furious and immediately denies it, but Zeus is past the point of listening. He issues a deadly ultimatum: return the bolt within 14 days, or he will declare an all-out war between the gods. Meanwhile, Poseidon's teenage son, Percy, is at a museum on a school field trip with his best friend, Grover. As they listen to their teacher lecture on ancient Greek history, another teacher suddenly pulls Percy aside for a private chat. Once they are alone in an adjacent room, things take a terrifying turn. The woman leaps onto the scaffolding and transforms into a horrific demon, a Fury, who attacks Percy while demanding he hand over the lightning bolt. Just as the monster is about to finish him off, Percy's history teacher and Grover burst in to intervene. Threatened with a weapon, the creature flees the building. It's clear now that the word is out: Zeus is hunting Percy. With no time to waste, the professor hands Percy a powerful weapon disguised as a pen and tells Grover he must get Percy to Camp Half-Blood immediately. Percy and Grover link up with Percy's mother and hit the road. During the frantic drive, she reveals the truth: his father is actually the god of the sea. She explains that Poseidon wasn't allowed to stay with them because Zeus forbade the gods from having contact with their human children. This means Poseidon can't step in to help directly. Percy's only hope is the camp, which is protected by a magical barrier that keeps monsters out. However, they aren't alone. A massive creature has been tailing them and suddenly hurls a cow at their car, causing a violent wreck. As they crawl out of the wreckage, Grover reveals his true form. He's a satyr, half man and half goat. They race for the camp's entrance, but as they reach the gates, Percy realizes the magical barrier won't let his mother through because she's fully human. In a heartbreaking moment, a massive minotaur seizes his mother and dissolves her into another dimension. Watching his mother vanish, Percy snaps. He draws his weapon and charges the beast, but he's quickly overwhelmed, tossed aside like a rag doll and nearly crushed by the massive monster. The battle with the minotaur reaches a fever pitch when the monster accidentally slams into a tree, snapping its own horn. Percy seizes the moment, grabbing the jagged horn and plunging it into the creature's chest. The minotaur dissolves into dust, but the sheer exhaustion and trauma of the fight cause Percy to pass out cold. When he finally wakes up, he finds himself in the camp's infirmary with Grover watching over him. Grover is relieved he's alive, but Percy is purely focused on one thing: finding his mom. Grover gently breaks it to him that he isn't ready. If he wants to survive a quest like that, he needs to train first. As they explore the grounds, Percy gets the shock of his life when he sees his history teacher, Mr. Brunner. It turns out he's actually a centaur named Chiron, the legendary trainer of heroes. Chiron doesn't waste any time and tosses Percy right into the deep end with a massive game of capture the flag. Percy is assigned to the blue team, led by a friendly guy named Luke. The game kicks off, and it's way more intense than any school gym class. These demigods are fighting like it's a real war. While scouting for the flag, Percy and Luke are ambushed. Luke holds off the attackers, shouting for Percy to make a break for it. Percy eventually reaches a river and spots the red team's flag just across the water. He's inches away from victory when he's intercepted by Annabeth, a daughter of Athena. She's a brilliant warrior and absolutely destroys him in combat. Just as it looks like he's done for, Percy instinctively crawls toward the water. The second he touches the river, something incredible happens. His wounds vanish instantly, and a surge of raw power pulses through him. With his strength restored, Percy goes on the offensive, taking down the entire opposing team single-handedly. Annabeth charges him one last time, but he disarms her easily, securing the flag and the win. Later that night, the camp throws a massive party for their new hero. Percy is the man of the hour, drawing plenty of attention from the other campers. But he only has eyes for Annabeth, the girl who almost took him out earlier that day. Before Percy and Annabeth can get too comfortable, the celebration is violently interrupted. A malevolent shadow erupts from the campfire, revealing Hades, the lord of the underworld. He's come for the lightning bolt and isn't playing around, hurling fireballs and sending the campers scattering in a panic. Hades reveals that he was the one behind the Minotaur attack and that he's holding Percy's mother hostage. He offers a grim trade: his mother's life for Zeus's master bolt. Percy is determined to save her, even though he doesn't actually have the bolt. Annabeth and Grover refuse to let him go alone, and Annabeth knows exactly who can help them find a way into the underworld. The trio heads to Luke's place, where it's revealed he is the son of Hermes, the messenger god. Luke hooks them up with some serious gear, including a pair of flying shoes and a powerful shield. More importantly, he explains that entering the underworld is the easy part, leaving is the catch. To get out, they need to find 3 hidden Persephone's pearls, which act as emergency teleporters. The team tracks the first pearl to an old garden center filled with an eerie number of lifelike statues. As they explore the grounds, they find a fountain filled with ancient Greek drachmas, a clear sign they're in the right place. They decide to split up to find the pearl, but as they wander through the aisles, the expressions on the statues seem to get more and more twisted and terrified. Annabeth runs into a woman hiding among the sculptures who warns her they're in grave danger and need to leave immediately. Before they can make a break for it, they are intercepted by a mysterious woman wearing dark shades. She reveals herself as Medusa, the legendary monster cursed by the gods. She explains that anyone who looks into her eyes will be turned into stone instantly. Annabeth manages to shut her eyes just in time, but Medusa begins to stalk her, desperate to add her to her collection of statues. Luckily, Percy and Grover aren't far behind. Percy draws Medusa's attention, leading her on a high-stakes chase through the garden center, while Grover rushes in to free Annabeth from a sculpture that had pinned her arm. Percy keeps Medusa on his tail, but the Gorgon is clever, using the heavy stone statues to trap him. She pins him down, trying to pry his eyes open to force him into a permanent state of stone. Just before he's a goner, a truck slams into the scene, knocking Medusa back. It's Grover and Annabeth to the rescue. They manage to stun her long enough for Percy to charge in and take her head off with one clean swipe. The team decided to bag the head. It's a gross souvenir, but a perfect weapon for later. Percy also spots the first Persephone's pearl embedded in Medusa's bracelet and snags it. With one down, they consult their enchanted map and head to their next stop, a massive museum in Nashville. Once inside, they spot the second pearl resting right on the crown of a giant statue of Athena. Since it's broad daylight, they have to lay low and wait for nightfall. Once the museum clears out, they sneak back in, only to find a cleaning crew still on duty. Annabeth handles it like a pro, taking them out from the shadows with specialized sleeping darts. With the coast clear, Percy laces up Luke's flying shoes. He zips up to the top of the statue, grabs the pearl, and sticks the landing back on the floor. But the victory is short-lived. The janitors they knocked out suddenly stand up, speaking in an eerie, synchronized voice, demanding the lightning bolt. The workers shed their human skins, revealing themselves as a massive, multi-headed Hydra that towers over the trio. The beast breathes literal fire, forcing the team to scramble for cover. In the chaos, Percy drops the pearl. Realizing they have to fight their way out, Percy charges the monster, dodging plumes of fire and slicing through several of the Hydra's necks. The giant serpent hits the ground, and for a second, it looks like they won. But as they catch their breath, they realize they've made a classic mistake. For every head Percy cut off, 2 more sprout in its place. The monster is now bigger, angrier, and twice as dangerous as it was before. With the Hydra growing heads faster than Percy can cut them off, the team has to pivot. Annabeth charges in, using her bow to draw the monster's attention so Percy can make a move for the dropped pearl. However, the beast isn't easily fooled. It cuts Percy off, pinning him behind a sculpture with a wall of fire. Just as things look bleak, Percy feels a familiar pull from the nearby museum fountains. He taps into his power, summoning a massive wave of water that slams into the Hydra and knocks it back. Percy grabs the second pearl and the trio bolts for the exit, only to find the museum doors are deadlocked. Trapped with a regenerating monster, they play their trump card, Medusa's head. Percy unfurls the remains and locks eyes with the beast. In seconds, the towering Hydra is turned into a harmless, massive garden ornament. Victory in hand, they head for their final stop, the Lotus Casino in Las Vegas. The moment they walk through the doors, they are greeted by friendly waitresses offering free lotus flowers. The group digs in without a second thought, and almost instantly, their priorities shift. The cakes act like a digital narcotic. The music feels better, the lights are brighter, and their urgent quest to save the world simply slips their minds. Days seem to pass in a blur of games and luxury as the lotus flowers keep them in a blissful, hypnotic trance. Percy is deep in the fog until he happens to spot the third pearl sitting on a gambling table. The sight of the magical object acts like a cold bucket of water, snapping his memory back into place. Realizing they've walked right into a gilded trap, he stops eating the flowers and rushes to his friends. He manages to shake them out of their daze, warning them that they need to get out of the casino right now before they're stuck there forever. The group makes a break for the exit, but the casino security, who are clearly more than just bouncers, try to block their path. The demigods fight them off with ease while Percy snatches the final pearl from the gaming table. They dive into a high-end show car sitting on a display stage and floor it, smashing through the glass front doors and leaving the neon nightmare of the Lotus Casino in the rearview mirror. As they catch their breath, they check the time and realize the horrifying truth. The The lotus flowers warped their sense of time. They've been in there for days, and they now have only 24 hours left before Zeus's deadline expires and a catastrophic war begins. Following the enchanted map to their final destination, they head for the hills. Literally. They arrive at the iconic Hollywood sign, where a hidden entrance to the underworld shimmers into existence right beneath the massive letters. They venture down into the darkness, arriving at a grim pier crowded with restless skeletons. There they meet Charon, the ferryman of the dead. Using the ancient gold coins they salvaged from Medusa's lair, they secure passage on his boat and begin the somber trek across the river Styx into a dimension defined by misery. The boat docks at the foot of Hades' massive, Gothic palace. The trio steps off with weapons drawn, instantly coming face to face with a pair of snarling hellhounds ready to tear them apart. They are saved at the last second by Persephone, the wife of Hades. Unlike her husband, she's surprisingly hospitable, though clearly unhappy in her marriage, and leads them into the throne room. There stands Hades himself, the king of the underworld. He wastes no time on pleasantries, looming over Percy and demanding he hand over the master bolt immediately. Percy once again insists he never stole the weapon, which only pushes Hades over the edge. In a cruel move, the god releases Percy's mother from her cage just so Percy can watch her be destroyed. Percy drops his gear and rushes to embrace her, but as his shield hits the ground, the truth is revealed. The master bolt was hidden inside a secret compartment in the shield the entire time. Hades snatches the weapon, his power surging as he realizes he finally has the leverage to overthrow his brothers. The group put the pieces together instantly. It was Luke who stole the bolt and framed Percy, using the shield he gave them as a Trojan horse. Despite getting exactly what he wanted, Hades has no intention of letting them leave alive. He prepares to feed their souls to the flames of the underworld. Just as they are about to be executed, Persephone makes her move. She betrays her husband, snatching the bolt from his hand and blasting him across the room like a ragdoll. The group rushes to her side, ready for another fight, but she quickly makes it clear she's on their side. She reveals her deep-seated resentment toward Hades for kidnapping her and forcing her to live in the gloomy underworld for centuries. Seeking her own brand of justice, she hands the master bolt back to Percy, urging him to get to Olympus and stop the war before it's too late. Just as they prepare to leave, they hit a major snag. They only have 3 pearls, but there are 4 of them. One person has to stay behind. To everyone's shock, Grover volunteers to stay in the underworld, clearly interested in spending some quality time with Persephone. The others crush their pearls, and in a flash of light, they are teleported out of the depths and back to the surface, landing right outside the Empire State Building, the secret entrance to Mount Olympus. But before they can reach the elevators, they're intercepted by a flying figure, Luke. He finally drops the act and admits he's the mastermind behind the whole plot. He wants the gods to wipe each other out, so his generation of demigods can take over and rule the world. Luke dives from the sky, kicking Percy to the ground and snatching the master bolt. Armed with the ultimate weapon, Luke starts blasting the rooftop with devastating energy beams. Thinking he's won, Luke takes to the air to make his escape, but he forgets one thing. Percy still has the flying shoes. Percy rockets into the sky, and the 2 demigods engage in a high-speed aerial dogfight over the Manhattan skyline. Luke's experience initially gives him the edge, and he knocks Percy into a nearby skyscraper. Percy manages to flip the script, blindsiding Luke and forcing him to drop the bolt. Just as Percy grabs it and tries to head back, Luke tackles him, sending them both plummeting toward the rooftops. Luke pins him down, ready to end it, but Percy senses the massive water pressure tanks surrounding them. He bursts the tanks, summoning a localized tidal wave that slams into Luke with incredible force. Refusing to stay down, Luke staggers back up for one last stand. Percy doesn't hesitate. He shapes the water into a massive trident and hurls it, blasting Luke off the roof and into the bay below. With the threat neutralized, Percy grabs the bolt and races into Olympus just seconds before Zeus's doomsday clock hits 0. Percy returns the master bolt to a stunned Zeus and explains Luke's betrayal. The gods realize how close they came to a pointless war and stand down. In the aftermath, Poseidon finally gets a moment to speak with his son. He apologizes for his long absence, explains the laws that kept them apart, and tells Percy how proud he is. Later, Percy returns to Camp Half-Blood and is surprised to find that Grover has been granted passage back from the underworld, looking quite exhausted from his exercises with Persephone. Percy finally feels like he belongs, ready to train alongside Annabeth to protect the world from whatever comes next. So, what are your thoughts on this take on Greek mythology? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the breakdown, hit that like button and subscribe for more. I'll catch you in the next one.